Welcome to Bothering the Band. My name is Ryan Bynack. I am on my bike. Special intro for a very special bonus episode. We got Steve Bays and Parker Bossley of the band Fur Trade. And they have some other bands you may know, but we're here talking about Fur Trade. They got an album coming up. I don't know when, but we're going to have them on again. This episode has a little bit of audio shit, but I promise you this episode is worth it. Our new BFFs, Fur Trade. So my name is Ryan. I'm the host of Bothering the Band. Usually I have my partner here, Abby, who's the producer, and does all the logistical stuff. But she's actually just gallivanting around, traveling. She couldn't make it.
Dang, where is she?
She's in Atlanta right now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she's bummed she couldn't make it, but I'm happy you're here. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I don't know if your publicist told you anything about this, but we got some really dumb questions for you.
Oh, that's what this is. I wasn't sure how literal the name of the podcast was.
Oh yeah. So we ask our favorite musicians just really stupid questions to get to know you on just a different level. I always say to people, I don't care about your inspiration, your politics, anything like that.
Oh, what a relief. Because I was gonna say the dumbest question is just, so tell me a little bit about yourself. And it's like, oh,
So we start every interview like this. How are you and where are you?
Feeling good, and we're in Tugboat Place.
yeah, and I'm feeling great.
Feeling great. Okay. Where is Tugboat at?
New West, baby.
It's a little town called New Westminster, which is technically the oldest place in Canada, I think.
It's like a port town.
Yeah. On the west coast.
It's New West.
On the best coast.
Well, I wore this Montreal hat for you. It's the only Canadian thing I have. So
Okay. Yeah, you're
Thank
about
you.
like 1,000 kilometers off, but
No, but it
it does mean something.
we have had in the last, I would say this year, 2023, half of our guests are Canadian musicians. That's just how it goes.
Cool.
We keep making the joke like we're now a Canadian, music podcast. Totally fine. We're doing well. Lots of hits up there. So,
Great.
I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but so many good bands come out of Canada, Toronto, the West Coast.
This is true.
Where's the weirdest place either of you have heard your music?
I can't think of any place that's too weird. I think someone did send me a photo or a video. They were like on a cruise ship, and there was like a weird like Stingray like Blu-ray jukebox or something that was like playing Lifted actually.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Sweet.
that was kind of random.
What are your mornings like?
Sure. Well, okay,
Very much.
my partner is pregnant, so I've been having to do a
Congrats.
lot of. Oh, thank you.
It's amazing.
I've been having, yeah, it's super cool. I've been doing like a lot of the morning dog duties. We've got a cute dog named Mashed Potato, and I got to take him to the park. So my morning's pretty boring, to be honest, and then I like make like breakfast for Olivia. So pretty whack.
Yeah, this is so whack. I can't. Wow, you walked in not getting a breakfast. That is so whack.
So whack. No, it's great.
Everyone's just going to Spotify, unfollowing this
Right
I
now.
can hear the click.
Yeah, we're done.
All right. In Tugboat or wherever you're at in the world, do you have a Trader Joe's?
No, that's the sad thing about Canada. I think, is there like one? I don't think there's any.
There's one in Bellingham, and at
Mhm.
one point I got from the Trader Joe's in Bellingham to home here in like an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, but we know all about Trader Joe's from our times in America, if this is a TJ related question.
Well, again, dumb questions. We're trying to associate those with Fur Trade. It's a very loose thing to just get you talking. That's it.
You know what? This is already my favorite, like least favorite I've said, but most favorite interview style.
I feel
And
comfy.
yeah, I think I'm on board with this concept and with you, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, that
And-
means the world.
Yeah. And now I know next time I won't have to do 10 hours of research on myself and my own band before the podcast, which is what I used to do.
Well, that's what we do. And by research, I just mean like just immersing ourselves in your music, which is easy because I know both of your separate bands and Fur Trade, the what's it called? The heavy record. I've loved for yeah. And like no joke, this is, we started this to become like just to hang out with our favorite musicians with no like pretext, no bullshit. And so that's it. Thanks. Ready for the next one?
Wait,
I love
did
that.
we get to answer the Trader Joe question? Were we supposed
Oh.
to say something like our favorite snack from Trader Joe's?
Oh yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I used to, when I was in LA, I used to crush tons of their cheap wine. That was a thing. And there were
$2 Chuck.
no, $2 Chuck's awful.
Uh-oh.
There was like one good year, but like there were some good reds. I can't remember them now because it was a while ago, but I liked them. And there's these like kind of cheesy like rabbit crackers, I think, that they have.
Oh yeah, my daughter eats those.
Yeah, I was a fan of those.
Yeah, a lot of children.
They're like goldfish.
They're like goldfish. Yeah.
Yeah, but rabbits.
I remember at one point I moved to LA and I was living in a house with all these people that I didn't really know. And I just remember I like kind of treating my loneliness with $2 Chuck.
Oh, nice.
And it kind of like I got in a really sort of gnarly funk, and eventually I was like, screw this, and I moved back to Vancouver. But in retrospect, I think it was probably just because I had so much of the
So much
$2
bad wine running through your veins.
It's like if I just didn't drink, and
Yeah,
maybe I would have.
You might have made a friend.
Yeah.
You mentioned Curb Your Enthusiasm. Do you love it? Love it. Have you seen? So it's coming back.
Yeah.
So excited. Curb or Seinfeld?
I've been really getting into Seinfeld lately. I'm late to the Seinfeld train. I'm like, I was full-blown Curb forever. Love Larry David. The show just makes me feel more comfortable with myself as I navigate society. But there is something about Seinfeld that's like a warm blanket when you're watching it that Curb Your Enthusiasm doesn't have. And maybe it's just because it's shot differently. It doesn't have that beautiful like 90s film soundstage quality.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it's so different in a lot of ways. And with Curb, what bums me out is every single episode is based on
like the same gag,
on like 2 or 3 coincidences. Like, what are the odds? You know what I mean? And you can only do that. Like after the 3rd episode of season 1, I was like, oh, kind of doing this again.
Right.
And then by like season 6, I'm like, this is insane. What? Like, how is that?
Yeah.
Whereas Seinfeld there's a lot more nuance and stuff, but it was probably a way bigger team that made Seinfeld, so it's not a fair comparison.
Was Seinfeld improv the way that Curb is?
No, very scripted.
Yeah, super scripted.
Yeah.
It's cool that they do that where it's like but I guess because it's the same actors doing it every single time, eventually you just fall into these like habits.
Yeah.
Where it's not as improvised. You got to throw in a couple weirdies every episode. Keep it interesting.
One of my first jobs was in an office, and it was just like file work. I was converting one file system to another file system. This is when I was a teenager, and it was just super boring, but I was into the job because I could listen to headphones. And I just started to get bored of my same cassettes because this was in the days of cassettes. And so I figured out that I could go from the RCA outputs of my VCR or TV or something into my cassette deck, and I started just recording Seinfeld all the time, and I would just listen to Seinfeld at work.
Oh, that's sick.
This
Just
was
the audio.
I get it.
And
yeah,
this-
that's great.
This is crazy.
I would do that now.
Yeah, totally.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but that was 27 years ago
Whoa.
that I was
That's
doing that.
legit. But you were 2 at the time.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
were a genius
Oh, yeah.
yeah, recording.
Well, you've seen that movie.
Baby.
You've seen the movie Baby Geniuses Part 1 through 6.
Yeah,
right?
you were the child actor of it.
No, I was the inspiration
Oh, okay. Got
because
it,
of my
yeah.
Seinfeld thing.
I think that reference, you just referenced Baby Geniuses, and I think that might date this more than the Seinfeld references or the tape deck.
You're digging a hole, brother.
Baby, there's a first time for everything.
Well, it's like, in like how Three's Company used to like sort of rip off All in the Family, and no, I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna rep
You did it.
the love. It's like, it's like on the Love Boat when
Yeah. It's like on you ever heard of a show called MASH? There's these new up and comers on it, but
Never watched MASH. That was before me. I'm 40. How old are you guys?
Suicide is
I'm
Painless.
35, but that's the best theme song ever. It's an instrumental, and the story of that is he wrote it and he was like, man, this is such a like cheesy song that I've written. And he told his son, like, what should I name it? And the son said Suicide is Painless. And he was like, okay, let's call it that. Which just kind of adds this weird depth to the song though. It's a gorgeous composition.
I love it. Yeah.
It's very sad.
Super, like, it's like nostalgic and sad.
Yeah.
And beautiful, but it's like smothered with like soap opera schmaltz.
Yeah.
Like it's melodramatic.
You just made up a term. When you smother something with schmaltzy nuance, it's called schmothering it.
Smothering it.
To smother a song.
Yeesh.
I can't write fast enough right now.
Wait, you're writing this all down? It's not even
Well, no, I'm recording it, but I like take notes. So
I'm kidding.
Oh, nice.
That would so you're like one of those house typists.
we have a stenographer here. That's what we're doing.
No.
Someone's
No.
This is actually, we're getting served right now.
Collecting evidence.
Man, again, can't keep up. Dumb question. In a text message, do you write LOL or ha ha ha?
I'm a ha guy.
I'm a he guy.
Oh,
I am.
What's my mom every now and then she does like the heh, and it's like it creeps me out a bit. The like
it's like HEH space HEH.
Yeah, it's like, what are you up to?
Well, that
Sneaky. It's
I mean, let's
plotting
face
laugh.
it. Your mom is sick.
Yeah, she's crazy. But yeah, the heh creeps me out. He, that's pretty cute.
I don't know if I've actually ever typed LOL like in its original.
Matt
use
Turner, a good friend of mine and a brilliant writer. He's the only person I know he's a ho. He goes ho ho.
Oh,
Yeah. It works somehow with him.
I use the word I use a ton for multi-purpose is GAHHHH.
Right. It's exasperation, but it's also like enthusiasm.
It's also
well.
like gah. I
do
just told a
eek.
bad joke.
I'm an eek guy.
Yeah, I got eek.
do you use emojis?
I do. Very much
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not.
We're
I don't
not
rely on
psychopaths.
them the way that other people do. I use my words.
There's a point of diminishing returns. Like if somebody sends me more than 3 emojis in a text, I just completely like
You short out. You're
I'm
done.
dead. I'm like, you're dead to me.
Yeah. I don't rely on them the way that some other people do, but they're pretty cool.
Well, I think there's a difference between like a smiley face at the end, or it's like code where it's like fire plus, a house, and then it's like something else with a question mark, and you're like, I can't decode it. What does this mean?
With that, it's too much work.
It's funny. Speaking of like what we did this morning, I actually I signed up as a developer for Apple so I could download the iOS 17 developer beta for my phone, specifically because it has a feature where you can drag emojis to comments like in your text thread and you can resize them and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, it's got like the emoji game on iOS
To like
17.
to past comments or to like
Yeah,
comment
to
on a comment, kind of like liking a
no,
comment.
it's like you literally can drag like to at any comment, you can just drag it with your finger. And then the other thing too is if you take a photo and it does like a live video or whatever, you can drag that as an animated GIF to your text messages. So if you're like, what me worry, you know what I mean? You just drag it and it's like your own little animated GIF.
Whoa. Steve's the tech guy in the band.
I was gonna ask, how did you learn about that?
I was editing photos yesterday and I had the Apple like WWDC on in the background.
What's the WWDC?
Worldwide Developers Conference.
Oh, of course he did. Okay,
Because all that stuff happens, and then someone will be like, "Oh, you don't know how to do this?" I'm like, "How am I supposed to learn this shit?"
Yeah. Usually the best stuff friends will tell you. Like,
right. It's like schoolyard rules.
Like
I've got an older brother who knows how to do this. We should go talk to Chad. Yeah.
It's like Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney was like, back then, like to learn a new chord, we would travel like on a train.
Right, to go talk to like Billy Bob, who knew that word.
He knew how to play a D minor seventh. And then we took the train home and we got home and we were like, Zing, got it.
I was just talking about the same thing about fashion, like moments in fashion where something will phase out and no one talks about. Like, in 2000s, it was cargo shorts. Like cargo shorts were like popular, and then all of a sudden they weren't. And if you wore cargo shorts, everyone's like, "What are you, an idiot?"
Are you talking from personal experience here?
No, actually not. But my personal experience is the no-show socks when I was in high school.
Okay.
No-show socks, like, again, became popular. And all of a sudden it was lame to have high socks. I don't know.
I just, if it's cool, I don't do it. I find rebelling against whatever is cool is kind of my happy place. I just kind of wear whatever.
It's true. Like you have like your own boundaries and your own borders and definition of like what Parker would ever consider wearing. And in some ways it's very extreme and weird. And then in other ways it's very conservative.
It's also super normal. Yeah.
Well, cool's a state of mind. So
well, I mean, I never
how you wear it.
I never in a million years would have thought that I'd wear a bucket hat. But then I went to Whistler which is like a BMX ski bum kind of place here. And on the weekend with my lady's family. And next thing you know, I got an Ocean Pacific surf shirt.
It's working.
I got a bucket hat.
Yeah.
And little bit of sun.
And cargo shorts. That's
no.
It's funny. Yeah, I was always thought cargo shorts were so whack. I just was totally against them. And I recently got some cargo pants that I love.
One cool thing,
but it's like an ironic appreciation.
But one cool thing about the internet is like it does kind of like there's so much like TikTok like outfit related stuff that people are seeing, and I think people are kind of getting like educated on like how to make, if you're gonna wear cargo shorts, how to do them well, so that it's not just like, you're not just Fred Dursting yourself,
right? Yeah, if you combine it with like a safari shirt with a bunch of pockets, then it's still not cool. But if
unless you're doing it on purpose,
whereas if you combine it
hard to pull off
with like a wife beater with a bunch of spikes and put in on one half and then sequins,
a tank top now.
Tank top. Oh wait. Oh yeah. Sorry. It's just Florida,
changed, brother. Times have changed.
Florida. An A-frame undershirt.
A-frame.
Sequins on one side.
I gotta say, I did like Fred Durst. Did you see the outfit that he wore for their reunion show?
Like the old man?
Yeah, that was working for me. He looked like he fell out of Twin Peaks, basically.
Wow.
Like that dude, the doctor, Dr. Jacoby.
isn't it
Jacoby? Jacoby. The J seems like it should be a gentle
Dr. Jacoby.
Jacoby. Yeah.
Yeah, that I mean, again, I think that's like confidence though, like blind confidence in Fred Durst. That guy has to have so much like like assuredness.
Totally. It's yeah, to pull that off is pretty amazing.
I find the closer to having showered I am, the more I feel confident enough to stretch my fashion.
You're a hygiene guy.
Yeah, like I didn't shower for a couple days, and then up until I showered right before you got here,
Oh,
I could
thanks.
just feel like my self-esteem was just so low.
I just shower twice a day. Is that crazy?
I
Is
mean,
that weird?
No.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
try it. It's
well, no, I often do. I often do, but which makes the not showering periods that much more detrimental
horrific
to
and
my
detrimental. Yeah.
self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because I used to have a hot tub that worked. There's something wrong with it now, but the problem with the hot tub is you're essentially committing to a nighttime shower. It's like, oh, do you want a hot tub? Yes.
And then you're gonna shower after
But
because you're
then
covered
you-
in chemicals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I find having a hot tub is not as sweet as you would think it would be.
Yeah.
Unless you like nighttime showering. So I tried to convince myself that I did, but I don't.
Got it. Writing this down?
Yes, trying to. Bullets. Back to the fashion part, and I have this written. This is actually a question we wrote: is do you own a windbreaker? Speaking of Fred Durst, wasn't he wearing like a members only or something like that?
Yeah, he's wearing one of those. Can you define windbreaker for us?
I don't. You know what a windbreaker is?
Because I'm imagining one that you see from like the 80s. Like it's got a hood, it's got a poncho, it's made out of crinkly sounding plastic.
Yeah, like nylon-y plastic.
Yeah, I have a Kitway, like a proper.
It's more a Steve vibe.
Really?
You
Is-
can
no, a
rock
Kitway-
that kind of
A
stuff.
Kitway is a windbreaker, though.
But yeah, no, what I mean is like you can pull off the like kind of
Oh.
like 80s
Yes.
windbreaker look.
After a certain age, people are just grateful that you're just trying anything. They're just like, I'm just glad you're not in jogging pants.
I just can't. The thing I don't like about windbreakers is people can hear you when you're walking. Straight up, it
Yeah.
bugs me. I can't handle it. If Steve was wearing crinkly pants right now, he would have to go.
Yeah.
That's the only thing we would hear. He'd be cutting out, and it's just the crinkly pants.
I would just be like, "Ugh," I just can't. I can't handle weird sounds like that.
You like finer materials. So you're like the Tesla of clothing garments. Like you want to be just silent and just all of a sudden someone's like, oh,
Yeah, boom, they're just run
boom.
over.
No idea that
They got
you were
hit
coming.
by a car. Yeah, totally.
Two things. One, windbreakers don't even do anything, so that's why I don't like them.
That too.
Like, what do? They don't really protect you from the wind. And two, that's the Seinfeld episode where George gets the new suit.
Oh
His new job, and it's like rubs in between his thighs.
totally. Yeah, can't handle that shit.
No. Have you ever worn a fur coat?
I've worn a vintage fur coat at one time, but I've been moving away from fur just because faux fur is actually, it looks better. But I mean, what is everyone gonna do with
and
the vintage
also
furs?
like wearing a dead animal is pretty trippy.
It's a bit whack.
It's a
Yeah.
bit of a whack vibe.
There's new leather jackets made out of cactus, which is pretty cool.
That is
Cactus is
cool.
becoming
Oh, that's cool.
a cool.
Yeah.
It feels like leather.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, faux fur. I've got a faux fur jacket, and almost bought a faux fur jacket this past weekend at a thrift store in Whistler. So,
Yeah.
Like a whole jacket, not just the collar or the hoodie, right?
oh yeah, full, and it was like $4 or something. But I was like, I should just buy it, but I'm just on this tip right now where if something will potentially not bring me joy when I look at it, I'm just like, I don't want to look at it and stress.
Fair enough. Yeah.
That's a good thing, though.
So I'm slowly trying to get rid of stuff.
It's a sign of maturity, I think.
Well, it's about time.
Yeah.
A few of those.
Yeah.
And no joke, on the list, do you or have you ever owned leather pants? Real leather pants.
I currently do own a pair of leather pants, that leather chaps that I got from
Ooh.
the store.
I wore leather pants in a photo shoot a couple years ago, but I run hot and I can't wear stuff like that because I just sweat.
And then you end up, you can't get them off, so you put lotion down them. And
Yeah, it's the same thing every time. It
You're in
always
the bathroom. And
there's baby powder everywhere.
yeah, it's a mess. So
it slips, you hit yourself in the face. Yeah.
yeah, it's awful. So I don't really wear those anymore.
Did we just make a Friends reference?
Jim Morrison
Yeah.
kind of ruined leather pants for everyone. Although, to be honest, leather pants kind of ruined leather pants for everyone.
Okay, so is there a liner?
It's kind of like, it's just a material that doesn't seem pleasurable.
It sucks for
It's
pants. It's worse. And
it's like water beds.
And
like,
it's so associated with douchebags. It's like water beds, kind of douchey.
yeah.
Leather pants, kind of douchey. It's like,
There was this guy that we hired. He was to do sound for Hot at Heat, and we hired him just because he was such a sweet guy. He's just so it's just an adorable little guy, and it was just fun to be around him. And then when we played New York, which was his hometown, he walked into the venue for sound check, just like, because we had been on tour for a few weeks, and you could tell he just thought he owned the city, and he was wearing leather pants.
oh no.
And
And
he-
it wasn't ironic. He wasn't being
No.
funny.
And he was like, they were ill-fitting, they were way too big.
Oh,
And he just
no.
like walked in like what's up? Yeah, what,
Like, what the fuck?
you're in my town.
Wow.
You're in my town. I'm doing sound at
Did he
the
make it?
Bowery Ballroom.
Did he make it through the rest of the tour?
He did, but unfortunately he died shortly after.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, this is a great follow-up to that. Lasagna or baked ziti?
Or what?
Uh,
or baked ziti.
Oh, ziti, like the Greek version of it.
No, noodles, like baked
Oh, it's a
ziti
different
pasta. Yeah.
I'm lasagna. I'm full blown lasagna.
I'm hardcore red lasagna, not white.
I'll fuck with a layer of bechamel though.
Oh, now we're talking.
Give me
Starving.
just a little one creamy layer of bechamel. We're good, baby. I'm a big fan of lasagna. That's like one of my favorite foods.
And then you start saying baby a lot whenever you're talking about lasagna.
It's
Lasagna, baby.
a little sensual, you know. For
I'll
me.
I'll actually just stick with the water, and I'll just take the lasagna, baby.
And you always make eye contact with the person that you're calling baby.
Yes. And you do this with your hands.
Yeah, you can't see it, but I'm doing.
And you
that
do
with my
this
hands.
with your two fingers. You give it one of these, like
Uh,
cleaning your
cleaning
mustache.
a mustache that doesn't exist because I can't grow facial hair. So
This makes everything, listeners, I'm just wiggling my fingers. That's all I'm doing. This makes everything creepier. Anything you say, right?
Yeah.
Here, I'll ask the next question doing that. And we'll
Okay.
see. Okay. Do you own a shovel?
oh yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, that did make it weird.
I don't. I
I
own a trowel.
Oh, okay.
I own 3 shovels.
Damn, you should give one to me, man.
Are they like different types? Like one's the pointed, one's flat.
If you're trying to bury a body in cold, like almost frozen
tundra
ground,
shovel.
yeah. One is for burying a body in sort of like marsh, and one is for gardening, which is just like a tiny one that I keep
A
in the
trowel.
front yard. It's still, it
Oh,
is
it's so
actually,
sizable.
it's yeah.
Steve doesn't do anything halfway. Pay it that much.
What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Ooh, Moonstruck.
Wow.
You familiar with that one? It's
yeah.
it's like almost not a Christmas movie because it's just set at Christmas. But it's like New York VHS share. It's Italian-y. It's bonkers. Oh, and Nicolas Cage. Come on.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so hot. It's and great score.
Good answer.
Maybe like Die Hard, but that's pretty stock answer.
I listen to a lot of the Peanuts musical, like the soundtrack, the Peanuts Christmas, like all year round. When we're driving, Olivia and I listen to that.
I really liked the old like animation, like claymation ones a lot.
Oh, like the Rudolph one.
Yeah.
Really want to get in the zone.
I'm a Christmas nut. Like I love all that shit. It's like there's just something about the music that's associated with Christmas. It's like major seven jazz. It's almost like bossa nova chords, a lot of it. When I first discovered like João Gilberto and like Yobim and all the like bossa nova cats, I was like, oh, it's Christmas music. They're making fucking Christmas music. This is so sick. And it's like opened up a whole new world of it where I don't have to be ashamed all the time. Because people
Yeah.
do
You went
look
a
at you
lot
funny
of, yeah, you went
if
through
you're
lot
listening
of
to a lot of Christmas shit in
shit.
summertime.
That Charlie Brown Christmas album is great. I have it on vinyl, and it just hits the heart in a certain way. Nostalgia, sadness.
Baldy, man. He was a gene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
Yeah, I definitely, I can't beat that answer. That's a great answer. Next question.
All right. No judgment on bothering the band.
What's that?
I said no judgment on bothering the band ever. There's no wrong answers. So, another movie question. You have a song called Glory Days. Have you ever seen the movie Glory Days?
No.
I only know we named that after there was a nightclub night in Vancouver called Glory Days that we would frequent at the time, around that time.
Well, and it's funny because
but
now
it's a Bruce Springsteen song, isn't it?
But we spelt it.
Did we spell it the real way or
the intentionally the wrong way?
The cool
but
way.
It's funny because a friend of mine owns like a secondhand clothing store called Glory Days in Vancouver.
Right.
And he was the one that in conversation one night mentioned, it said LOL trash.
Oh yeah.
And we were actually out for Italian, and I may have actually been eating lasagna that night, which is really crazy.
Bringing it all back around.
But yeah, he mentioned the words LOL trash. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna use that for a song title tomorrow.
So yeah, he's affiliated with 2 Fur Trade songs. Crazy.
Glory Days. I'm just looking for the movie here.
Yeah, have you seen it?
Glory Days was written and directed by a guy named Rich Wilkes, who also wrote Airheads and the Motley Crue movie that came out a few years ago.
Like the TV show?
No, it's called The Dirt, and it was on Hulu. It's based off the book.
Oh yeah. With Kay, the thing that totally screwed that movie for me was that Ramsay from Game of Thrones plays Mick Mars, and I was like, this is not working for me. I can't unsee Ramsay Bolton. That character, like, how do you not just seem like a psychopath to everyone?
Yeah. So that guy, Rich Wilkes, has been on the pod. He's a friend of the pod. Check out Glory Days. It's a great, like, underrated, like no one's ever heard of it.
Are you talking?
Funny? It's fun.
Are you talking?
I'm talking about Affleck. Yeah, soundtrack is outstanding. Ben Affleck, Sam.
Check it out.
Okay. But so it's good. We should watch it.
Yeah, it's the fun 90s college flick. And it's, like I said, Sam Rockwell, Affleck, Brendan Fraser's in it, Alyssa Milano.
Damn, I love Sam Rockwell.
French friggin' Stewart.
French friggin' Stewart.
Also with music by NoFX. Hello.
What?
And the Vandals, and yeah.
Oh, so it's like a punk rock soundtrack.
Sublime.
Oh shit, that's cool.
Wow. Okay, I'm
Cool.
definitely gonna be watching that.
It's a fun. It's one of those 90s flicks that's like great. It's just easy down the middle. Which brings me to my next question. Time travel music. Do you have any songs that immediately transport you back to a specific time, place, anything like that?
Oh,
I'll let you go first.
I thought you were gonna say, are there any songs that make you think about
Like
the concept of time travel?
and there's lots.
I was gonna say the Julian Casablancas 11th Dimension song.
Yeah.
Makes me think of time travel. but in terms of transporting and memories, very much so. You start.
Carpenter's the Carpenter's greatest hit CD was like constantly on in during my childhood and is like still one of my favorite. Just like put it on while I'm driving, feel good vibes. That like also Andrew Lloyd Webber randomly, his like musical greatest hits.
Like memories, cats.
Yeah, there's a cat song on there. There's like Starlight Express. Starlight Express. It's so whack, but I love it.
Interesting. I didn't realize you were a AL
AL Dubsman.
AL Dub.
Hail Dubsman.
Um, to me, like anything that's sort of ice cream social, it's like the
doo-woppy?
doo-wop. Yeah, because I had
Because you were a teenager in the 50s.
I was in my head. Well, I mean, my parents still are very kind of like nuclear family vibes. Very like Pleasantville, Leave It to Beaver-esque. Not completely.
They're lovely.
Oh no, they're great, but like they definitely like
Sure, yeah.
of the side of the 60s where you could have gone hippie, or you could have kind of just I'm gonna just hang
join the
out.
army.
I'm gonna hang out over in the early 60s and fast forward until the 70s. Yeah.
Right.
And so my dad got me a stack of 45s for $2 at a garage sale when I was a kid, and I had his old record player, and so I just constantly listened to like doo-wop, as a younger guy. So like Earth Angel and
those are good.
yeah,
nostalgically wistful.
yeah,
Shit.
the C, A minor, F, G squad.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I've been appreciating revisiting that Carpenter's CD is how sick of a drummer Karen Carpenter was.
Yeah.
So cool, so tasty, and just such a rad pocket. Just like she was so cool.
So we have a theory here, not a theory, it's just like a thing we always say. Music and smells are time machines. Like you hear a song, you instantly go back to what when you heard it, or some sort of memory. And Middle of Nowhere does that for me.
Whoa,
That's cool. That's huge.
Yeah, when I finished college, I traveled around the country and I stayed in LA for probably too long, and that was just it, man. I had like a early iPod,
yeah,
and that album on. And yeah, just anytime that comes on.
oh man,
It's such a good song.
yeah, we put it 9th on the album because I thought it was like the most kind of like mainstream, and I wanted people to think we were crazy. But in retrospect, it's like it shouldn't have been hidden at the very end.
In the record. Yeah. But I mean, in Canada, at the very least, I still hear it on the radio all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's still
it's probably the song that people bring up with me the most by far.
Yeah.
Well, it was like, again, going to school in Florida, it was on MTV and shit. That's how I found it.
Yeah, that's so wild. Well, that video cost a cool 350 grand.
Really?
So I'm sure the label did whatever they had to do to get it on MTV,
To
because
recoup that money.
you're not gonna let that just like be a 1,200 views on the old YouTube kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wow, holy hell.
Yeah. Which is about what we spend on all our Fur Trade stuff. So.
Oh yeah, totally.
It shows. It's like very cinematic,
Yeah. It's also the band wasn't really in the video very much. Was that ever a point of contention with it? Because it's very much Steve's the star.
It was because I was very like always tried to make sure everyone felt they were an equal band member. Like,
yeah.
Split everything 4 ways. Like
Totally.
But that was the first time we had like
that's probably the director.
Yeah, it was
Mark
Mark Webb, who had just done like all the big Green Day videos, and My Chemical Romance. Went on to direct like
500 Days of Summer, Spider-Man. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
He directed some episodes of The Office. Right?
oh, cool.
But yeah, so like the guys were just sort of like, oh, okay, tell me what to do. I was like, okay. And so we didn't really have a lot of say in it. And then when they edited it that way, like we didn't know that it was going to be
Right,
cut,
what it was going to be.
like to be like that.
I
The only real say I think I had was, well, I mean, we wanted it to sort of be like the Beatles' Let It Be, you know,
You're playing on
rooftop
the
kind of
rooftop.
vibe. That was like the catalyst for the idea for the video. But then I remember in that video and in the Let Me In video, talking to the director and being like, because they were like, so you've got fans there, and they're just like freaking out that you're there. And I'm like, ugh, don't want that. Like, so I was like, can the people watching us play just be chill?
Right, like cool art house,
Yeah,
70s,
yeah, yeah.
Parisian. Yeah.
And that's why the other just sort of like, cool. Because I'm like, if you're gonna have screaming fans, like then you need to have thousands. It's not cool to have like 7.
Right. Yeah.
Oh man. Do you consider yourselves a super group?
Fur trade?
There's not enough to
Yeah.
be a group.
Well,
We're a super duo.
Super duo. I like it.
a dope duo.
Dope duo.
Super dope duo.
Super dope, cool guy duo.
Whoa. We're gonna need to brainstorm for a minute and get back to you, because I did not greenlight that last
Cool
one.
guy? Okay.
Yeah.
Windbreaker guys.
I think we're like rad dudes.
We've done a lot of work. To me, like Mounties is more of a super group, whereas we're like, I don't know, like we're just two producers who make rad music together.
Yeah, like Mounties is like people called it a super group, but I know Ryan was always felt like, oh, like I don't deserve to be in that list, and then I was always like, oh, I don't deserve to be in that list, and then I think Hawksley was like,
Let's
like,
go. It's like, yeah, let's do it.
yeah, he was more sort of like, I don't know, like if these guys are good enough to be with me, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, supergroups just tough. It's also like the supergroups just always seem doomed to fail. Somebody dies.
It's kind of like if someone asks you, would you rather produce or direct a movie or that movie's sequel? You'd be like, oh, the sequel is not going to be, it just stinks a little bit to be
It's
doing
a
a single,
little fishy.
like no director ever became famous after doing a sequel.
Well, that's a pretty grand.
I made that up.
Yeah,
James
sure.
Cameron.
Yeah, there's got to be a couple, but still.
It's but so supergroup is a cool concept, but traditionally most supergroups other than Traveling Wilburys make not great albums.
Traveling Wilburys is great. Who else was good supergroups?
Well, you have like Audio Slave, if you want to count that.
Audioslave,
Yeah.
But you know what? You know what's rad about Audioslave is they, at least publicly, don't register as a supergroup. Like I'm still telling people, I'm like, no, that's Rage Against the Machines band, and they're like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, no, it's a supergroup. Like they didn't make it publicly. That wasn't their like selling point.
Yeah, they didn't use that to promote
Chicken Feet or whatever they were called, Chicken Foot, Chicken Wing. Do you remember that band?
No.
No, it was like, who was it? It was a bunch of like big shreddy guys.
Oh, Chicken Wing.
It was like John Paul Jones was the bass player, I thought.
I love.
We got to look it up.
I personally love Chicken
What
Wing.
were they called?
I can't remember who's in it or what their music sounds like.
No, it's so whack. It's
Chicken Wing.
It was either Chicken Foot or Chicken Wing.
What should we call the group, guys? You have 1 second to decide. We're registering it right now. Go. First thing that pops in your head.
Okay.
Chicken Wing.
So
okay.
Check this out. It's it was gonna be whack no matter what. Sammy Hagar was the front man.
Sold.
Bassist Michael Anthony, I'm not sure who that is. Joe Satriani is the guitar player, and then Chad Smith of the Chili's was the drummer.
This is like every dad's favorite band.
Yeah.
It didn't turn out. It
And I
did not work out.
I guarantee Michael Anthony was playing like an 18-string bass.
Fretless
Yeah,
18-string
fretless.
bass. Yeah.
Wireless,
hilarious.
no head
Yeah.
tap visible.
Totally. Yeah, fanny packs on stage.
A
Cargo
wireless
shorts.
headstockless 18-string fretless bass, purple.
Cargo short band. They were a cargo short supergroup.
Yeah. And like his bass had like kind of curled around, like kind of like, like wrought iron art style.
Yeah, and you can carry it by the handle.
Yeah.
It's got a handle in it.
And it's got locks on it, like the strings lock the tuning.
Yeah, having a whammy on your bass guitar is so sick.
And then there's 8 dials, and it takes 2 9-volts just to play it.
Just to run
Just
it.
even.
Just to even get signal. Yeah.
So
Have you guys ever heard of a group called the Dirty Mac?
No, what's that?
oh,
about?
they've got a Lamborghini on their cover.
No.
Oh, sorry. I'm
Okay.
thinking of
The Dirty Mac was John Lennon, Eric Clapton,
Oh, no way.
Keith Richards, and someone else. I forget who. They have one song, and there's a video on YouTube.
Oh, it was during the Rock and Roll Circus.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So it was like them jamming and hanging out, and they
Yeah.
just recorded something because they had like the mobile rig there. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Very cool. That's one of those. I wish they would have made more music.
I know. I think a lot about what kind of music John Lennon would be making right now if he was still trucking. Because he's just become my favorite Beatle.
even though
His
he
solo stuff.
admittedly beat his wife. Great.
Well,
His first wife, so it doesn't count.
oh
okay.
no. I just, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation where it's
Yeah.
like, well, are you not allowed to look at someone's art,
Okay.
Picasso's art, just because he was kind of he was a total prick? You just say burn it down. Steve's a burn it down. Raze it to the ground. John Lennon shouldn't exist.
I only
anymore.
like art made by
AI.
social justice warriors. When you said Daddy Mac, I was thinking of Sir Mix-a-Lot, Mac Daddy,
Oh,
in
but of
which there is a
course.
Lamborghini on the cover, which is why I thought Lamborghini. But
I don't think he said the Daddy Mac.
The Dirty Mac.
yeah,
But either way, you were close.
I mean, there's a lot of things going through my head right now, just because.
It's like we're playing a word association game here. We're like, let's see what you think of this.
I mean, this is the 7th podcast we've done today, so
Brag.
no, just kidding. We were excited.
I still am.
I showered.
Yeah, he showered for the first time in 4 days. For a phone in thing.
Ever since I got this Ocean Pacific surf shirt, I'm like becoming a surfer in my head. So I don't shower. I live in my
You're just playing
truck.
Sublime all the time.
Love Sublime.
But Sublime with Rome. Only the new stuff. Only
Oh
the
yeah,
new stuff.
I only like their new stuff.
Long Beach Dub All Stars. That's it.
Totally.
I listened to a lot of that LDAS in high school.
LDAS?
No, I fucked it up. LB
Bass.
shit.
I think you're thinking of Latter-day Saints.
Oh yeah,
Mormon.
I used to go to a lot of Church of Latter-day Saints events.
I would go and buy a lot of merch there,
Mhm,
just
mhm.
like swag, but then I would just split.
That's where you get your bucket hats.
Mhm.
So give us another question there.
Okay.
Don't let us take over, because clearly it goes downhill when we do that.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's the best thing ever. The worst is when, and just being honest, is when you're like, these questions are just to get you guys to talk, tell stories, have fun, And then some people are great musicians, but not the best in interviews, which is fine. And it just gets real tough to try to get more than one word answers out of that.
Right. When you like run out of your questions in the first 5 minutes of your interview, you're like, oh no.
I used to give the worst interviews. And then one day it dawned on me that it doesn't what you answer, it doesn't matter. Like nobody really cares. Like, what did you actually do with your morning routine?
Right. It's what you want to talk about.
It's more just like, is it fun to watch? Like, because yeah, is it entertaining? Like, is it enjoyable?
But it's a two-way road. It's like there's a lot of interviewers where you're like, well, you're not gonna get my best because you're freaking me out right now. Or like,
because you keep
or
going like this.
yeah, you keep wiggling your fingers in a weird way. Yeah, or like that question is offensive to me as just as a human. I'm like, you didn't even like
Such
like
as
well, if they ask a question that's just so asinine about your band that you're just like, so you literally didn't even like Google us before, you know what I mean? And I'm supposed to like entertain you for 30 minutes and like be a part of your world.
Well-
That makes me sound like a dick, but like I sometimes it's just like it's nice to have a little bit of effort. And you know, not everyone can be Nardwar, but everyone should aspire to be Nardwar.
I just read that Nardwar got Kurt Cobain's last interview. Did you know that?
That doesn't surprise me.
That's so crazy. I remember being in Germany when Elevator, which has Middle of Nowhere on it, like that record, when that came out, we were doing a bunch of press in Germany. And sometimes like Germans are a lot more dry and blunt, and they just sort of assume you have the self-esteem to
deal with their like stoicism.
yeah. And I just remember like them asking things that just felt so savage, like and the language barrier made it really like extra savage, because they'd be like, so your last album is very challenging and advanced, and the new album is more like simple pop rock, like,
Right. Yeah. Or they're like, how are you dealing with the flop of your latest record?
Yeah.
Like there's totally that type of vibe that I've experienced, but I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay with a little bit of blunt like truth in an interview over just not
Yeah.
being able to talk about anything, you know.
Yeah, in Australia, once we interviewed in this hotel, and about, like a quarter of the way through, I was like, this is a hit piece. Like I could just tell.
Oh, like they were trying to take you down.
Yeah. And that was like the only interview I ever was like, you know what? I think we're good.
Oh, nice. You
I-
called it.
I pulled a what's his name? Who does the Iron Man actor guy?
Downey Jr.
Dwayne the
Yeah.
Rock.
Howie Downey Jr. What-
Howie Downey Jr.
Robert.
Howie Downey Jr.
Howie Downey Jr. Yeah, I know that guy.
Howie Downey Jr. Yeah. Yeah. He ran the Iron Man.
Oh, right. I remember that. Yeah. Okay.
And
But so you called it off. Were they bummed, or were they like, oh, this guy is
I
actually
don't-
smarter than
I
we thought he
don't
was?
remember. I think that was in a small window of time when I thought I was kind of like hot shit. So I thought I could pull that.
Okay.
kind of bit off.
Okay. Yeah.
Another thing to look up: Lou Reed interviews when he gets pissed off.
Oh man, in the
Really?
70s when
Yeah,
his drug-addled like airport convention thing is great. I've always looked up to that style of thing if it feels like, because his record label presented him as a freak basically, and so everyone was like, okay, let's write about him like he's a freak. And then he got fed up with it, and I think
Yeah.
he was really high on amphetamines at that time, but he could keep a straight face. So he'd say the funniest shit to them and like repeat himself and just talk pure nonsense, but stonewall,
Well, and also that
which
was
I can't do.
That was probably post Bob Dylan interviews being sort of being the cool thing, like,
Right.
because like I remember Dante was obsessed with Bob Dylan. I mean, we all love Bob Dylan, but he was obsessed with his interviews. And so when Dante would be interviewed with the band, he had this sort of like adversarial, like the press are the enemy kind of vibe.
Right.
And so whereas I was like, these are just our peers, like,
yeah.
like we could just as easily have gone into music journalism as being in a band.
Mhm.
So I'd be like, I think what Dante's trying to say is actually
Right. That's great. But it's funny. I do remember when I first started getting interviewed and stuff as like as a teenager. I was a little bit like Dante too, from watching all of my idols just stonewall people or just say complete nonsense. But those days are mostly over, I think.
I feel like back then it was like, junkets where they had to do that all fucking day. And by like, the better press outlets were probably later. And by that time they were burnt out, like Lou Reed's like, I gotta go do heroin. Bob Dylan's like, I gotta go do a million like other things or change leather pants, whatever he was doing.
Yeah, I gotta change into my leather pants now.
I gotta go tease my hair.
Yeah, I could see that you would get burnt, and especially if these are people who kind of think that you're like a freak of nature, basically, which is like how a lot of these stars were kind of spun and how they spun themselves, like even David Bowie, just like taunting them even.
I mean, counterculture was the enemy that stood to like corrupt their children, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the press was pretty
opposed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like young musicians and like older white guy reporters.
Right. Yeah.
That have like the black thick rimmed glasses.
Yeah.
That was a good look though. I like the horn rim glasses and like just constantly smoking.
Went home to like a perfectly curated house and
that was just all carpet.
The children are just on the floor playing a, I don't know.
Jacks.
Yeah. Playing jacks on carpet.
Yeah.
You guys should be the co-host of this podcast and just, give up music and do this.
Is it a paid gig?
No.
You get paid in hugs from fans, and you probably also get torn apart occasionally. Like, do you get comments where people are like, "You fucked up. You said this and that," and like,
no. But we talked about this recently, where I said, I know we are doing something right. We get nothing but like positive stuff right now because we're kind of small, DIY kind of punk rock. Again, we altruistic is the word. We literally just want to. It started in the pandemic. We were like, let's hang out with our favorite musicians. How do we do that? And I said, we'll know we've made it when we'll get a comment that said the host sucks.
Oh, nice.
Which would be great. I welcome it.
And have you gotten there?
No, not yet. Which is good and bad.
What?
Oh, wait, is it weird? It's not the same if we say it.
So
no, it's perfect.
You rule.
You just need to have your Island Boys moment, and then all be downhill in the comments from there on, and then you'll know you've made it.
Oh, devils! Fun fact: Island Boys, Florida. I'm in a town over from wherever they were supposed to be, like hanging out in like the suburbs.
Yeah, is MILF Mansion shot in your neck of the woods?
MILF Manor.
Oh, sorry, MILF Manor.
I think it's somewhere in like the rich part of town, like a town over.
I think so. It's got to be. Steve likes that show.
No, I like Cody Co's Takedown, but I can't actually.
Oh, that's right. You don't
can't watch
the
the actual
episodes. You watch someone take it down on YouTube.
Yeah, like the more he feels justified to be an ass about something, the more I like him.
Right. I get
and
that.
MILF Manor is just the perfect catalyst.
Vehicle. Yeah.
But yeah, the Island Boys, I'm just fascinated with. Like, if you look at my YouTube history, for example,
it's all Island Boys.
It is. He
should do a song with them.
This is it on me a lot.
Okay. A bunch of studio tours. Butch Walker studio tour actually. So we got some Island Boys spilling all the tea. Got Island Boys, we're not joking around. Island Boy Red sounds different after jail.
That's ridiculous.
I smoked crack is one of them.
Oh, nice.
Mean.
Oh, nice.
Mad and exposed red Kodiak. I just am fascinated with the Island Boys. Like they're their demise having so much to do with their own words and actions, I just find fascinating.
Do you think they'll come back? Right? Are they still around?
Are they ever actually relevant?
So they made like $1 million
Allegedly.
supposedly off of that video going viral. And then they kind of wasted it all, but they do a lot of cameos.
Yeah.
I don't think they're making big bucks right
And
now.
oh yeah, no, but they do a ton of social media, and people, there is still pockets that are obsessed with them, but it's obsessed for the wrong reasons. Like he just got $100 bill tattooed on his chin right here.
How does it look?
Looks great.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. We're having a good old time. Speaking of social media, do you follow us on any of your platforms? Follow Bothering the Band on Instagram? Any of your channels? Handles?
I'm on it right now.
So this is a way for us to just shoehorn in a random spot in the interview. Everyone, go follow Fur Trade on Instagram and Bothering the Band too.
We just followed you're brothering the band?
Birthing
Birthing
the band.
Birthing the band.
Yep, we're following you.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
And I'm gonna get How to Eat to follow you.
Man, this is incredible.
Big day for birthing the band.
Well, I always say that, like, you know, as a music fan, there 10 years ago, you said like 20 years ago, I was just a, 20-year-old kid just walking around LA listening to Hot Heat, and now I get to hang out with you guys. So it's a cool thing. Life is funny, man.
It's so trippy because I think most people, if they at one point were big enough that like the sort of mainstream audience knows one of their songs, like their music they stop making music, it seems like, often. Like you'll often what's Eve 6 up to right now, you know what I mean?
You should follow Eve 6 on Twitter. They're very, very weird. And I think the lead singer of Eve 6 this is so weird. We just talked about this, I think, in one of the last 2 or 3 episodes, is putting out a book or something.
Okay.
Oh wow.
They had some bangers. That was a band for me where I was like, oh, bass players are allowed to sing? Cool. That was cool for me.
Really? That was like the tip.
That was the one.
It wasn't the tipping point. It was just a band where I was like, oh shit, it's a bass player singing.
So Eve 6 are your favorite all-time bands?
At a certain point, they were my favorite
is-
band when I was in high school.
I'm just thinking because
That one record with the fly on it.
Yeah.
Heart in a Blender.
Yeah.
Okay, it was Eve 6. So somebody just sent me Eve 6 posted they posted something about what music do you listen to in the sauna, and then they posted a photo of How to Eat.
Oh, that's good.
That 69,000 views on this
Oh,
screenshot.
but he was being clever.
He was just
such
being
a wild matrix of a moment right there.
Eve
But that's
6.
great.
Yeah, Simpkins sent me that.
He was being clever.
Hot in a blender. I don't know any other words. Beautiful
That's-
Oblivion. Yeah.
Rock and roll sign.
We played with Eve 6 once at this beach ball event on the beach, and it was like tons of like people in bikinis and speedos and beach balls everywhere, and it was just very much like nobody cared about our music. It was just,
We played. Are you a fan? Do you know the Canadian band July Talk?
I do. Yeah, of course.
They're cool. You should chat with them. They're awesome. But we played this show with them, and it was like a volleyball fest thing. And it was the first time we had met them, and Leia, she was like, I guarantee at some point during this show, I'm gonna get a fucking volleyball right in my face. She's as a child, if there was a ball, she would just somehow, it would just smack her right in the face. And sure enough, about halfway through the set, she took a volleyball so insanely hard right in her face. And she handled it super pro, but she looked very, pissed off.
Well, she called it. She like, I knew it.
She shouldn't have said anything. It's like it's one of those things you shouldn't announce it to the universe.
Or she's said like, oh, I bet people are gonna throw like hundreds of dollars at me.
Yeah.
I once we opened for No Doubt and somebody threw a tampon at me.
That's cool.
And I just went whoosh, and just perfectly
You blocked
blocked
it.
it. It was like a Karate Kid moment.
That's cool.
Wait, a used one?
No,
Oh,
That would be
Bowie
cool,
got
though.
that lollipop in the eyeball. That's pretty gross. It like literally went stick first into his. It was like stuck in there.
And then didn't someone threw something at Tom York?
yeah.
This guy was a volleyball thing, I think.
Really?
No.
We finish every episode with a song from the guest. What song should we end this episode with?
If our latest single has come out called Signature Moves.
Okay. The next question is, what is next for Fur Trade?
Live shows.
Nice. Come to Florida.
Hell yeah.
Where in Florida are you again?
So southeast Florida, like Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
We're chatting with a fella from Florida about doing some animation work with him for
Yeah.
a Signature Moves video, actually. And my parents spend half the year in Florida. I've been to Florida many times because my grandparents lived there as well. So and then with How to Eat, we played Florida a ton, like Jacksonville and Tampa, Orlando. What other places? Doesn't matter. Who cares? Boring interview.
All right, keep going. What's next?
General.
No, I mean like that topic is boring to the listener.
Let's just name Florida places. And
Yeah. One thing, like we're still figuring out how we're gonna like do our live show, and that's been what we've been working on. So that's like one thing that's next, because it's this grand undertaking to figure out how to do this, because we're kind of like a studio band. Like we're pretty untethered in regards to like, if we have an idea, we just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so figuring out how to make that work in a live setting without, hiring like a 10-piece orchestra is like an interesting endeavor,
And by interesting, he means pain in the ass.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what's next for us though. And it's great. And we're releasing the album in September, I believe.
That's so cool. Can't wait. We will even, this will come out in July. And then when the album comes out in September, we'll gladly promote the fuck out of that too.
Oh,
hell yeah.
Thanks, my man.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're stuck with us. Essentially, especially online, you're stuck with us.
I'm in it.
This is like
the best interview ever.
This is like a 2-hour digital tattoo that will never go away. Like this will be on the internet till we die.
Yeah, totally.
Assuming that
Assuming that like the internet doesn't
assuming that
chew up the whole
AI doesn't
kill us all.
destroy every server on the planet in the next little while, which they could.
We got 50-50 chance, I'd say.
Apparently we should be more worried about AI than we are even global warming. So
That's just because people are trying to deflect the global warming stuff, I think.
no, it's just
No, I know.
there's
It's
people
all bad.
there's not I mean it's all good.
It's all bad and it's all good, baby.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, just let him go. Like, where the fuck are you guys going with this one?
Oh yeah. As long as we land on lasagna, I'm cool.
Yeah. Lasagna and leather pants. That's the name of a song in the future. You can have that one.
Lasagna and leather
I
pants.
like the alliteration. He's writing it down on his phone.
I'll write it down already. It's like a song about Garfield or something. And Garfield like grew up.
Yeah, there you
When
go.
he became
It'll be
a
for the
badass.
Garfield 3 soundtrack. Directed by Josh Wilkes. Was that his name?
Rich Wilkes.
Ah, fuck.
And Harvey Downey Jr.
Howdy Downey.
Howdy
Downey.
Harvey.
Harvey Downey Jr.
Oh man. Well, guys, that's our interview. That's it. This has been a blast.
Oh, I thought that was just the warm up because I was gonna go all stoic and arty for the
Oh,
actual.
shit.
Artsy fartsy.
Dang. Well, you can go stoic for the next time we do one with
Yeah.
Ryan.
Yeah,
Oh.
we'll have you back. And dude, this has been so much fun. I can't thank you enough. Again, no joke, no hyperbole, no bullshit. I've loved both of your separate bands for so long, and then Fur Trade for, since its inception. And, as a music geek, this has been an honor. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, my dude. And yeah, have us back if you have a cancellation or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we'll let you know when this comes out. And Erin, I believe it is, she's already sent over photos, so we're like in a good spot, and we'll tag you and everything. And yeah, like I said, man, this has been fun.
Well, expect us to be retweeting the fuck out of those tweets. So
Well, all right, guys, you guys have rehearsal, go have fun. Thank you again.
Cool,
thank you
man.
so much. And send our love to your better half.
All right, see ya.
Okay. See you, man.
See ya.
I run away with you. I'm always waiting for those dreamboat moments to hit. A Sunday drink, love on the sink. I'm always waiting for those dreamboat moments to hit. Now we go dancing on that rooftop, reaching for that sweet spot, swimming in those dreamboat moments. No one can minimize what we got, no negative, that's just signature moves. Now we go dancing on that rooftop, reaching for that sweet spot, swimming in those dreamboat moments. No one can minimize what we got, no negative, that's just signature moves. I run away with you. I'm always waiting for those dreamboat moments to hit. Don't wanna think your love could change. Love me like a jacket, show us up and see what your people think. And on the weekend, run out of money, you got mascara all over your cheeks. Get closer, closer, closer to me.